everybody. It's me, Carmine DeStefano, the Bookman. Persona! Really? A series that was originally created in 1996 by Atlus, or at least started in 1996 by a company called Atlus, typically revolves around a bunch of high school students and cataclysmic events in certain cities around Japan. Throughout the years, they've had some kinds of changes, but nothing really spectacular with the exception of the first 3 titles onto the last 3 titles. And people have gone nuts for these games, spawning manga series, novels, side games, a whole bunch of other things involving Persona. What it is a relation between personalities, an ideology involving people's hidden personalities and the masks we wear, granting certain people specific powers under certain circumstances. And originally, the first 3 titles were your typical old JRPGs where you walk around different maps and get into random encounters, and it had the turn-based strategy formula that has been played out since the 1980s. But then they changed that formula, starting from Persona 3, making it more about simulating high school life in Japan as opposed to actually combating anything. Because you've always wanted to go to school 6 days a week and study and do homework and get a little bit of a job after school while you're at it. You also like to romance 10 women, as you have to build up your personas. This is the last 3 titles now. You have to build up your personas by building up and maxing out your relationships with all your comrades, which could be people in your party or people that randomly you see out in the street or whatever. Really, it's just the 20 tarot card characters that are represented by each person, whether or not they're in your party. And this has led to many problems with these games. Let's start off with the most obvious ones. As I said, the turn-based strategy formula that these games fall under is old and boring and slow, and they make it even easier. It's the point where they made it so easy in Persona 5, they tell you which characters benefit fighting which enemies, what those enemies' weaknesses are, so then you can stun your enemies and get even more abilities to do more opportunities to attack. On top of that, the pacing of the games themselves are so drawn out and long, the games towards the end just basically fast forward to the last month or the last day that you're going to be in this town, because the character's always just dropped into a situation for whatever reason and then dropped back out. Also, the storylines are so fucking off-the-wall cockamamie, ranging from going into a sick chick's cognitive world to going into the collective cognitive worlds of the entire city, which is managed by a holy grail, which thinks that people want to be enslaved. In between all that, you also have one where an extra hour after midnight comes along where regular people who don't use personas are turned into coffins, and a school turns into a 400-story tower. Another one where you have a cognitive world or an imaginary world, whatever you want to call it, that you can only get through by television sets. And I don't mean turning on a TV, I mean going into a TV. There are so many different storylines that are so fucking stupid, and like Final Fantasy, when they actually give you exposition, it makes the story even more convoluted and stupid. On top of that, the characters are all the fucking same. If you've seen the characters in one game, you'll see the same ones in the next game. Very few changes, very few alterations. The goofy sidekick, the rich chick who owns a company or a corporation, the playful chick that you can flirt with and hang out with, the real skanky virginal type chick that you can get with to some extent because there's no real sexual scenarios in this game. They're all the same fucking characters. Even the storylines pretty much repeat themselves, as the game pretty much repeats itself over and over and over again. In fact, one of the main enemies in Persona 4 has the same name and fucking job as the main enemy in Persona 5. So if you've played one of them, you know what's going to happen in all of them, because it never changes. Everything repeats itself, including the tutorials, making a very simple game take about 5 hours to get through in the beginning because they keep telling you to do the same things over and over again in the same facet. Conversations repeat themselves all the time, and your character, who's supposed to be the leader of these gangs, apparently has nothing to say because you really only have a few dialogue options while your teammates just don't stop talking to one another. And those dialogue options range from one subject topic to another subject topic to another subject topic, all of which are the same subject topic, just a different way of saying it. There's no real repercussions for anything you do. Maybe there's a scene on Valentine's Day where if you've romanced every woman, which you have to do, they might all get upset that you romanced every woman, but that doesn't mean anything towards the end of the game because they act like it never happened. On top of all that, the endings themselves can only be accessed if you max out everyone's personality rank. And those final bosses are usually felled by your main character's main persona ability, which is all of your comrades maxed out, all of them giving you this magical power, this incredible force that wipes out the main enemy or the final boss without there being a sweat broken at all, making it a completely easy and idiotically stupid final boss fight. And the music, people, is the most insufferable part of these games. Nothing but cheesy Japanese chick pop with English translations that repeats over and over and over again to the point where you want to bash your head through a fucking window. And despite all this, people think these games are not good. They think they're legendary. The three, Personas 3, 4, and 5, were rated as one of the top 50 greatest role-playing games of all time, and the fifth one was just released worldwide a few months ago. How anyone can enjoy these slow, boring-ass, stupid fucking games is beyond me. Overall, seeing as how these games suck, but everyone thinks they're great, that makes them overrated. But I will give this two things. I'll give this series two things. One is, got a lot of hot chicks, and the other one is, it's inspired me to make a channel for games just like this. Games that so many people think are great that actually suck. I'll play through those types of games just for you. Thank you all for watching. I have more reviews soon to come, so stay tuned, take care, and have a great day.